It's been a while since I've done a haul video, but that does not mean that I stopped buying books. Suffice to say that I probably have enough books to do 3 haul videos at least. I bought most of these books over the last couple months, so, you know, I didn't buy them all at once or anything. My birthday was last month too, so I bought a lot of books for myself then. I had a rough couple months, and I tend to shop to deal with my sadness. Needless to say, my depression is expensive. So let's just get into some of the books I bought. In this video, I'm mostly going to be talking about like fall books or books that I think would be great to read in the fall, and I have a ton of them. The first book I have here is Two Girls Down by Louisa Luna. First of all, I would like to say that I don't remember what half of these books are about, so this video is going to take a long time to film. This is about 2 girls who go missing and someone gets brought in to investigate it. And it also seems to have a lot to do with meth and OxyContin abuse, which I think is really interesting because I kind of come from a town that has some prescription pill problems. So I'm interested in this. I tend to go a lot for these types of books, and it seems like something that'd be fun to read in the fall. Velocity by Dean Koontz. I've never read anything by Dean Koontz. He's obviously a very popular author, but I look forward to trying him out with this book. This book is about some sort of murderer who puts this one guy in a predicament where he has to kind of choose who dies between 2 people. I've seen this type of thing done in several different shows and movies and whatever. I think it might have been done in a Sherlock episode. I might be wrong. It was definitely done in a Gotham episode. But I always enjoy it as a storyline, and I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing it expanded in a book. I know some people hate mass market paperbacks, but I love them because they often go on like buy 2 get 1 free deals, which is how I ended up with these. And also, in the buy 2 get 1 free deal was I Let You Go by Claire Mackintosh. I actually don't know a lot about this book. I've heard Books and Lala talk about how it has like one of the better twists, and that was enough to sell me on it. So I bought it. It's got a leaf on the cover. Screams fall. I'm hoping to read it soon before I accidentally get spoiled of the twist. Those 3 books I got on Chapters. Most of the rest of these books I got on Book Outlet. Like everyone else, I love Book Outlet. I never buy books if they're not on sale because I just can't bring myself to pay $20 or $30 for something I'm going to read in like 5 hours and then be done with it. Especially since I often get rid of my books. So I always buy my books on sale. Most of these books were like $5 or less. Yeah. The School for Good and Evil by Soman Chainani. I bought the first book of this. This is the second book in the series. I bought the first book on Kobo. I thought these books were mangas. I did not realize they were actually books. So that was kind of a disappointment. But I'm still going to read them because now I own them. I believe they're middle grade, and they're about 2 different schools. One's a school for good people, one's a school for bad people. And it has something to do with like a play on fairy tales. This book is Supernatural Bone Key by Keith R.A. DeCandido. I love the Supernatural series. I am super far behind because honestly the show started sucking after season 5 a little bit. But I still love the show, and I didn't know that they had all these books that are like non-canon, or maybe they are canon, I don't fucking know. But they take place in between the seasons and episodes and stuff, and this is one of the ones earlier on in the series. I don't have the first one yet, but I saw this one on sale, so I went for it. And obviously it's earlier in the series since you can see Jared Padalecki's Justin Bieber hair. I also bought another one in the series. I think there was like 16 books. This series makes no sense to me, and they're not all written by the same person, and it's kind of a mess. I guess it's just like episodes of the TV show, but I'm excited to try it out. Hopefully it'll be similar to the TV show, and hopefully I'll enjoy it. Next book I bought on Book Outlet was The Wager by Donna Jo Napoli. Really, this cover drew me in. I was like, it's kind of pretty and beautiful and like satanic, but you know, pretty cool. I believe this is about a man who takes a bet or takes a deal with someone very similar to the devil, and you know, his life starts to spiral out of control or whatever. It's a very, you know, he gets more than he bargained for. I feel like that sort of premise has been done before, but I think it's always interesting to see a different take on it. I read Needful Things by Stephen King, and I really loved the premise. It had a very similar premise, but I hated the book so much. And so I'm hoping this will kind of be a better version of that, especially since it just centers on one story instead of a ton of stories like King did. The next book is The Sacrifice Box by Martin Stewart. I saw this book on Book Outlet. I'd never heard of it, but it just screamed Halloween to me and horror vibes, and I haven't read a ton of horror novels apart from Stephen King's books, which I didn't enjoy, but like I love horror movies, so I'm trying to get into more horror books. Basically, this has to do with a group of friends who find an ancient box and they decide to kind of make a time capsule out of it. They say they're never going to go back there. Eventually they do. Crazy shit starts happening. Next is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I've never read Stephanie Perkins before. I know she has a very popular YA series that I just never delved into because it didn't really appeal to me, but I've heard that this is very Scream-esque, just like teen slasher nonsense, and I'm into that. I've read a couple books that feel like slasher horror movies that have kind of let me down, so I'm hoping this one will be better. I've heard very mixed to not great things about it, but I have hope. The next book is A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. Paul Tremblay seems to be pretty popular for this time of the year because he does a lot of horror books. I haven't read anything by him. This one interests me the most because I believe it's about a documentary crew who goes in to see someone who is supposedly possessed. I love possession movies. They are the type of movies that I will always watch. I will almost always be disappointed by them, but I always want to watch them. And so a possession book just sounds great. And I don't have to deal with found footage nonsense, which is awesome. This is Blood Brothers by Nora Roberts. I've never read anything by Nora Roberts either. I believe that this is a series that has to do with a group of friends in a creepy town. I'm not totally sure what else it has to do with, but I feel like there's a lot of books in this same vein, you know, The Raven Cycle and Devouring Grey, that just don't really interest me, I guess because they're a little bit younger, whereas this one I feel like because it's marketed towards adults, hopefully I'll be a little more into it. Next book is Harlan Coben's The Stranger. So I believe that this is about a stranger who comes to town and starts whispering secrets into people's ears, and it kind of like, as soon as you hear from this stranger, it just like changes their lives forever. I believe it's also being turned into a Netflix series, which is one of the reasons that I really wanted to read it, because I'm sure I'll want to watch the Netflix series. And I've never read anything by Harlan Coben, but I know that he's a very popular mystery author, so I figured I should try him out. I also picked up 2 books in this series. The first, which is The Stars Never Rise, and the second, which is The Flame Never Dies. It might only be a 2-book series, I honestly have no idea. They're by Rachel Vincent. This has something to do with very religious themes. Demons have taken over the town, and sins are prosecuted as crimes. I'm not sure much more than that. And they were super cheap. I'm pretty sure I picked up this one for like $2 or $3, and this one for another $2 or $3. So I'm really looking forward to trying out something that sounded a little bit different. The next book on my list is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I promised myself I was never going to buy another Stephen King book because I keep reading his books and I keep hating them. But then I heard Murphy Napier talking about it, and just the way she talked about it and how it really focuses on grief convinced me to pick it up. I don't know what I'm doing. It also helps that I really do like this cover, and of course there's the movie that's out. So, Pet Sematary by Stephen King. It's about a dog or a cat or something that dies, and then somebody resurrects it and things happen or something. I'm not really sure. But it has something to do with animals coming back to life. Horror. I also bought another Harlan Coben book called Caught. This one is about a woman who works in the sex crimes division, and she catches someone who's connected to a 17-year-old girl who's gone missing, and I don't know, it's all about the investigation into this man and what happens. I love Law & Order SVU, and for some reason that just like really pulled me into this book because of it, so. The next books I bought were from the Every Heart a Doorway series. So I bought Every Heart a Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and In an Absent Dream, all by Seanan McGuire. I'm sure most people have heard about this series. It's about a bunch of kids who kind of come back from their crazy adventures in these other lands, like Harry Potter or Hansel and Gretel, or why am I blanking on other kids series? Narnia. And they come back from these crazy lands and they kind of have to get used to living in the regular world again. I thought that sounds great. I didn't realize the books are hella short. And the price for these books, like they only make them in hardcover, which drives me nuts. So I could not find every hardcover for less than $18. But finally I found these three on Book Outlet, so I got them all for super cheap, and now I'm very excited to read them, and fall seems like the perfect time. The next thing I bought was Bad at Night, which is a manga by Hatsune Miku. This has something to do with a play and the 7 different characters that she has to interact with, and they get thrown into like this mansion together, and it sounded really perfect for Halloween, so I think this is going to be a book that I get to this month. And honestly, this was the first manga I've ever bought like in physical form, so I was just super excited to get a manga. Next I have Confessions by Kane Minato. I'm terrible with names, I'm sorry. I've heard that this book is hella fucked up, and as soon as someone says a book is like incredibly screwed up, book, movie, whatever, I am going to watch it. Or read it in this case, because I just love when people have twisted minds and they actually like put that stuff out there. I don't know, it interests me. So I believe that this is about a woman who is a substitute teacher, I think, and one of the students, or maybe a lot of the students, I don't know, somehow they were involved in her daughter's death, and I'm not sure where it goes from there. I don't really want to know anymore. It should be a quick read, and I'm very excited to get to it. Next book is Love Me Not by M.J. Arledge. This is another book in the Helen Grace series. It's one of my favorite crime series, and I'm just really excited to have it because I honestly always find these books in the sale section, which leads me to believe that not many people are reading them, and I know not a lot of people have heard of them, but it is my favorite crime series, and it bums me out that more people aren't reading it. I love Helen Grace as a character, and I will continue to read the series. The next book is Hex by Thomas Old Havault. This has to do with some sort of curse that's placed on a town where a 17th century witch resides, and her eyes and lips have been sewn shut or something, and if they were to ever open, something bad would happen. It's obviously very vague. And I believe all of the people in this town are quarantined to the town by the witch, and these teens get kind of sick of it, so they decide that they're going to let the witch free, and obviously I'm sure bad stuff happens. This sounds like a really fun horror read for Halloween, so this one is another one that's near the top of the list for this month. The next book is Your Life is Mine by Nathan Ripley. This has to do with a woman whose father was a cult leader, and I believe that he might have died or killed himself or something, and basically this takes place years later. The main character's mother gets murdered, and then she believes that it has something to do with the cult, and they begin to work its way into her life. Speaking of cults, I also have The Sacred Lives of Minnow Bly by Stephanie Oakes. This has to do with a girl who is part of a cult, and the prophet sets fire to their town, and she kind of is going over in her mind all the events that led up to that night while she's in FBI custody. I have a thing for cults. Who doesn't? The next book is The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones. In this world, demons exist, and you can trade a body part for one wish. This main character has to trade more than she bargained for, and it's kind of about what happens after. And the last book in this haul, part 1 of 3, is The Rig by Roger Levy. I don't actually know a lot about what this book is about. I just saw the cover, kind of read a little bit about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm in. I don't know why. It looked pretty. What can I say? Has something to do with a social media platform. It has something to do with a rig, with secrets that they work at. Hopefully it's good. Well, that put a dent in the books I needed to haul. So thank you for watching, and I hope you come back again soon. Bye.